Hey guys, this is Christina Gina here with Better Living, where we choose better together. And today I'm talking to you about a subject that I'm not too strong on, but I have studied quite a bit on. Oh yes, I have studied, as I want to be an A+ honorary student in this before I dive into this honorary class. And this class is marriage. Let's talk. 10 misconceptions that you thought about marriage, but there's probably way more in this. I just wrote them down. I was scribbling about, and I was learning along the way. I spoke with actual people that are married, and this is what I came up with, and this is what their thoughts are and my thoughts, and we kind of came together, and this is the synopsis of what we thought. So here are some misconceptions that you thought is true about marriage. This is for somebody who might be thinking of getting into it, might already be in it. This will help us all. Okay, this is coming together and helping us all. So let's get into it. Okay, so one is this whole idea, this concept of through sickness and in health, but it also stands for mental health too. Don't just forget about, just think about somebody when they're 70 and thinking, oh, well, when they get sick, I will always be there, I will be loyal. Or, oh, if they get in a car accident, I will be loyal. But what about those days where somebody is genuinely sad, depressed, full of doubt? They have those fearful moments in their life and they need their advisor. They need their consigliere there next to them, fighting with them. This is also for mental health. Another one is it's not always 50-50. It's sometimes 70-30. And sometimes you have to just meet your partner where you're at. It's not always going to be 50-50. Sometimes you have bad days. Sometimes they do too. And that's okay. The other one that my friend actually told me, which was fascinating, was that it's not about falling in love. It's actually about growing in love. I thought that was quite beautiful and quite a sentiment, definitely. Here's another one, is that it's about service. It is service. It's service-based. And that service doesn't stop when you're mad or you're angry, which is a fascinating thing that I learned. It's about the unconditional love, and that unconditional love is respect. And so when that respect is there, you will still do that act of service even in frustration, which is quite a mature concept to think about, actually. Here's another one. Make sure that your goals are aligned. They're equally aligned, because if they're not, it generally doesn't tend to work out, which is unfortunate. So come together even pre-marriage, before this happens. Come together and find out what you guys are all aligned on. What it is that you value, why you value them, and you'll have a better understanding on how you want to move later, darling. Don't forget to subscribe and like. I'm trying to build this channel, and let me know if you end up liking these librarian glasses. Type librarian if you're still here in this video. Here's a deep one. You can't sharpen iron with a piece of wood. If you continue to sharpen your blade, your axe, with that piece of wood, all you're doing is just chipping at the wood. Only iron sharpens iron, my dear. So keep that in mind. Be with somebody who is your compatible. This is a big one. The lack of respect actually destroys a marriage. Once that lack of respect is built and there and that seed is planted, it is very hard to come back from. But you must work on this. Do not have lack of respect for your partner. Love is respect. So don't forget that. Here's one that my friend told me. Getting married isn't the goal, or it shouldn't be the goal. Even though it is for women a lot of the time. But it's not the getting married that's the goal. It's actually staying married that should be the goal. Because that's where the hard work comes now. Because if you thought, honey, that planning all that wedding and stuff was hard, honey, plan the rest of your life together. Good luck with that. Here's one that I think a lot of people can benefit from. Be slow to speak, but be quick to listen. Be quick to learn and listen, but be slow to speak. Here's one that kind of ties into the service comment that I talked about previously, but being in love isn't enough. You need to show this love through actions, through acts of service. This is the true form of love, truly. And when God is your priority, it's even more evident. All the years and the hardships, they mean really nothing without honesty. If there's a lack of honesty in this relationship, it will not last as well. These are all kind of things that makes a lot of sense, and they're pretty, of course, but you don't understand, guys. When years pass on, things change, people change, they're not the same, and you just need to keep certain fundamentals consistent, and when they are, you guys will be too. Here's one that shocked me that my friend told me. that marriage sex is actually better than single sex. And that when people act like, oh shoot, here's my sex life about to die when I get married, that's actually not the case. It actually ends up flipping and turns better because those fundamentals are all tied into it. And so that level of intimacy is increased. Team clean, honey, team clean, let's go. I know, I hear you. This has been a long journey for us, a long, dry, tiresome journey, but apparently our life will be better soon, so looking forward to that. Betty Davis actually told her daughter something really interesting which really resonated to me, and I quote, she said, "I want you to have a big happy wedding because marriage is hard, and that once the party is over, it's all work from here." Betty Davis, very concrete, solid. Here's one that sadly I seen somebody go through. Just because you take your vows seriously or took your vows seriously, it doesn't necessarily mean that somebody else will. Here's something that is undeniably gonna happen. You will change. You will change. But just make sure that you change for the better. This is the secret sauce, because you will change no matter what. Of course, years, decades pass on. You're definitely gonna change as a person, physically, mentally, but just change together and change for the better. Don't change for the worse. Because sometimes people marry somebody being so positive, joyous, miraculously beautiful, and that person sours and turns into somebody that they didn't even really recognize. Another point is that marriage isn't really an end game. It's really where life starts to begin. And that's something beautiful in and of itself. And that when you have the mindset of a wife and a husband and not a girlfriend or boyfriend, so little things can eventually become big things. Be attentive to that. Watch out for that. Little day-to-day tasks, the way you speak to somebody, the tone, the pace in which you take things. Watch out for that. Don't let those little things become a big things. And if they are becoming an irritating thing, please address them before you blow up on somebody and everybody's wondering what happened. Here's an interesting point when I just said that people will change. They're bound to. Some people ultimately, though, really don't change. And as much as you would want them to, some people like who they are. And even if it's destructive and you wanted them to change, sis, or you wanted her to change, honey, she just won't. She's stuck in her ways. And sometimes marriage doesn't change that. In fact, sometimes it instills that because they feel like they're validated by somebody having their back by being who they are. When you ask people the right questions before you tie the knot, you really get a better understanding of who you're dealing with so that you have a better understanding of that risk assessment analysis long term, you know? But that's all relative. At the end of the day, life is risk, and you do have to put yourself out there ultimately. So ultimately, in that point, take people for who they are when they tell you who they are from the get-go. Don't try to change them in your mind. Don't try to have this fantasy of what it could be in 10, 20 years. They're telling you who they are. Believe them. How you say things really matter because you both have power with each other. There's strength in the bond, and you don't want to destroy that. So how you say things, be attentive to that. That tone, honey. Watch that tone. Watch that tone. Sometimes actually being with your opposite, it actually can serve you well. Actually, it's teaches you how to love well, serve well, be well. It's actually a good thing. The yin and yang, it's amazing. Sometimes it's not always the thing that you wanted or that you hoped for. Sometimes it's the opposite that can work for you, depending on the type of person you are. And I know that tends to generally be the case for men, especially. Women might not think that might be the case, but men, I know for sure, value this. But sometimes, by getting to know your partner, you actually end up getting to know more about yourself along the way as well. Think about it. Anyways, if you have any other insights and great points to make, let us know in those comments down below, honey. We would love to hear them. We would love to know, and we would love to learn. This is a community-based love that we've got going on here. So share it down below, family. We would love to hear it. Take care.